Most people don't have a spending problem. They have an awareness problem. If I asked you right now how much you spent last month on food, subscriptions, random online purchases, and small daily expenses, you'd give me a number. And that number would almost certainly be wrong. Not because you're careless, because modern money is invisible. A century before credit cards, before fintech apps, before buy now buttons, a Japanese journalist noticed the same issue. Households couldn't explain where their money was going. Her name was Hani Motoko. In 1904, she introduced something radically simple, a handwritten household ledger called Kakeibo. No automation, no syncing, no dashboards, just structured reflection. And more than 120 years later, this paper system still competes and often outperforms digital budgeting apps. Let's break down why. The real problem with budgeting apps. Modern budgeting tools promise clarity. They connect to your bank, they auto-categorize transactions, they generate charts. But here's the behavioral flaw. They remove you from the process. When software labels a purchase as dining, your brain doesn't evaluate it. It registers it passively. There's no friction, no pause, no processing. Behavioral economist Dan Ariely describes something called the pain of paying. When money leaves your hands physically, it activates mild psychological discomfort. That discomfort regulates spending. Digital payments reduce that signal. Autopilot spending increases. Emotional purchases rise. Subscriptions accumulate quietly. The data supports the outcome. Even wildly popular budgeting platforms like Mint ultimately shut down in 2024 despite millions of users. Technology tracked spending. It didn't change behavior. That distinction matters. Why writing changes behavior. Kakeibo works because it reintroduces cognitive engagement. When you manually write $18, takeout, didn't plan this. You are not logging data, you are processing a decision. Neuroscience shows handwriting activates broader neural networks than typing. Studies using EEG brain scans in 2024 found significantly stronger connectivity in memory-related regions during handwritten note-taking versus digital entry. There's also something called the generation effect. Information you create yourself is remembered more effectively than information passively received. Translation from money: if you write it, you feel it. If an app logs it, you ignore it. That difference compounds over time. The structure of Kakeibo. The system itself is straightforward. At the beginning of each month, write down total take-home income. Subtract fixed expenses, rent, insurance, utilities, debt. Set a savings target and subtract it immediately. Divide the remaining money into weekly spending. Notice the sequence. Savings is not what's left over. It is prioritized before discretionary spending. That shift alone alters long-term financial trajectory. The 4 categories. Every purchase falls into one of 4 buckets: needs, essentials for survival; wants, discretionary lifestyle spending; culture/growth, books, education, experiences; and unexpected, irregular expenses. That 3rd category is philosophically important. Most Western systems lump education into entertainment or suggest cutting it first. Kakeibo protects it. It assumes growth deserves intentional funding. That's not a budgeting tactic, that's a value system. The monthly review. At the end of the month, you answer 4 questions. How much money did I have? How much did I intend to save? How much did I actually spend? And what will I improve next month? Not, where did I fail? Improvement framing reduces avoidance behavior. Self-criticism increases it. That's behavioral design. The 24-hour pause. Before any non-essential purchase, Kakeibo suggests waiting 24 hours. This creates psychological spacing between impulse and action. In Japanese aesthetics, there's a concept called intentional space between events. Applied financially, that space allows emotion to cool before money moves. Most impulse purchases don't survive overnight. Not because you restricted yourself, because you gave your rational brain time to vote. What actually surprises people? When people track manually for a full month, the shock is rarely restaurants or shopping. It's the quiet spending. Subscriptions never canceled. Small recurring digital charges. Just this once purchases repeated weekly. Grocery totals far above memory estimates. The issue isn't extravagance. It's accumulation. Tiny, forgettable amounts repeated distort financial reality. Kakeibo forces clarity.
and clarity changes decisions. Why this still works in 2026. We live in a frictionless economy. One-tap checkout, auto-renew subscriptions, invisible digital wallets. Systems are engineered to reduce your awareness of spending. Kakeibo does the opposite. It increases awareness intentionally, not through restriction, through attention. And attention, over time, alters behavior more sustainably than discipline alone. How to start tonight. You do not need a branded notebook. Any paper works. Tonight, write your monthly take-home income. List fixed expenses. Set a savings percentage. Start with 5%. Divide what remains into weekly limits. Track every expense by hand for 30 days, 3 minutes per day. At month end, review honestly. Adjust. Repeat. That's it. No algorithm, no subscription, no gamification, just structured awareness. And structured awareness is what most people are missing.